and 6 o'clock p.m. weekdays. Stay tuned to be updated, to be informed. News updates, live reports. F1 FM breaks the news with actualities. I believe that if we are looking for a new Nigeria, you can as well listen online via mixlr.com/GFM. Good evening and welcome to Abona, the 103.5 FM news update. Today, Wednesday, the 22nd day of February 2023, and the time is a minute past the hour of 6. Martin Ifanshuku Ekeze is my name. The headlines: Anambra extrajudicial killings. Police commence full-scale investigations. Civil society organizations express concerns over insecurity in Ebonyi, urge Buhari to intervene. Anambra security operatives take over INEC office ahead of presidential polls. Buhari government has cost us pain. We believe in Supreme Court, Sanwo-Olu. Enugu East senatorial candidate Nnamani insists. Putin suspends Russia's participation in remaining major nuclear treaty with US. Now, details. Anambra extrajudicial killings. Police commence full-scale investigations. The Nigerian police force has pleaded with the public to bring more credible facts as a special panel begins investigation. The officers involved in alleged extrajudicial killings and organ trafficking in Anambra State. Newsman reports that the police public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, in a statement on Twitter on Tuesday, stated that the force has commenced a full-scale investigation into the allegations against the officers in Anambra. The tweet reads, the special investigation panel investigating the allegations of extrajudicial killings, extortion, unprofessionalism, and high-handedness against police officers of the Anambra State Command and Zone 13 Ugbo Dunukofia has commenced a full-scale investigation into the allegations as investigators have moved to scenes and sites for on-the-spot assessment. The team has, however, been tasked to harness all available means and spread its tentacles toward ensuring that all information received via the channels made available to the public is properly examined to assist the investigations. Subsequent reports of findings and recommendations. The Nigerian police force wishes to disabuse the minds of well-meaning members of the public and all interested stakeholders that the panel comprising respected and thoroughbred officers, including officers of the Inspector General of Police Monitoring Unit, reports directly to the Inspector General of Police and shall discharge the responsibility professionally and ensure justice. The MPF also reassures that the Anambra RRS or KUZU will definitely be reorganized and sanitized to suit the present ideologies and administrative styles of the force leadership in conformity with international best practices. This sanitization will be equally extended to other tactical squads across the MPF. Furthermore, it is imperative to clear the air that the officers fingered in the trading allegation were never arrested or detained, he declared. Civil society organizations express concerns over insecurity in Ebonyi, urge Buhari to interfere. Ahead of the general election, a network of civil society organizations, CSOs, under the umbrella of the Civil Society Committee for Anti-Fraud Election Security, has expressed concerns over the rising insecurity in Ebonyi State and plans to intimidate residents into voting against their choice by the state security outfit, Ibubago. The civil society organizations also urge President Muhammad Buhari, the international community, including the European Union, EU, and all lovers of democracy, to beam a searchlight on the happenings in the state. Addressing a press conference on the worrisome state of insecurity in Ebonyi State and its dangerous consequences before, during, and after the 2023 general election. Yesterday in Enugu, the founder of Seekers, Kennedy Iyere, said that the people live in fear of Ibubago thugs and militia. Recall that the Federal High Court in Abakaliki disbanded the Ibubago, a security outfit in the state, following allegations of gross violation of human rights, extortions, and use of firearms. 3 days after the court's declaration, the state governor, David Umahi approved two new security outfits, including the Ebonyi State Neighborhood Watch and Ebonyi State Vigilante Corps. Announcing the formation of the outfit during a State Security Council meeting in Abakaliki, the state capital, Umahi said Ebago would only function in the state once a stay of execution is granted. In his reaction, Iyere claimed that despite the court's declaration, the group has continued to carry out its unlawful activities. He further claimed that Umahi wanted to impose himself and his successor on the people of Ebonyi State so that he can continue to wield influence. According to him, now he is using a bagel to force people against their wishes. They exist as a lawful vigilante group and continue to terrorize and intimidate the people. Speaking further, Iyere said, election is not a do or die affair. Everyone must be allowed to make their choices of who leads them. But Umahi has made himself an emperor and a supreme leader who wants to ensure that he appoints a successor, he stated. Anambra security operatives take over INEC office ahead of presidential polls. Armed security personnel in their patrol vehicles were seen at strategic positions at the entrance gate and the major roads leading to the INEC state office. Security was tight at the Anambra State headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Oka ahead of Saturday's presidential and National Assembly elections. A check at the INEC office on Tuesday showed a heavy presence of security operatives in and around the commission's office. The roads leading to the INEC office were closed to traffic with roadblocks, making motorists follow alternative routes. Armed security personnel in their patrol vehicles were seen at strategic positions at the entrance gate and the major roads leading to the INEC state office. Security operatives from the Nigerian Police Force, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and others were seen at the INEC office located at Elex Ikweme Square, Oka. Gunmen have continued to carry out a series of attacks on police stations and INEC facilities in Anambra, thereby raising fears about the safety of people during the polls. Buhari government has caused us pain. We believe in Supreme Court, Sanwo-Olu. In the midst of the ongoing protests in different parts of Lagos, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has urged for calm. The protests were caused by the hardship resulting from the Naira redesign policy, which has made it difficult for residents to access the new notes. In a press release, the governor stated that while the federal government led by President Muhammadu Buhari has caused hardship, the state government has joined a legal dispute at the Supreme Court, hoping for a proper ruling by February 22nd. Enugu East senatorial candidate Nnamani insists. The senator representing Enugu East in the Senate, Dr. Chimaroke Nnamani, has said he is still the People's Democratic Party candidate for his senatorial district as far as the forthcoming general election is concerned. Nnamani urged his constituents to come out en masse to vote for him in Saturday's senatorial election. The former governor added that he made the Independent National Electoral Commission's final list of senatorial candidates cleared for Saturday's elections. His plea to his constituents is coming 4 days before the presidential and national assembly elections slated for Saturday, February 25th, 2023. He said in Enugu East senatorial zone, there is no vacancy. Ignore any insinuation to the contrary, uh, because I'm mentally and psychologically prepared for Saturday's election. The federal lawmaker assured his constituents of continued effective and quality representation in the Senate, saying that Enugu East would get her fair share of dividends of democracy. He added, I will be fair and just to all. Whatever your interests and concerns will always be my mission and purpose in the Senate. On February 10th, the PDP expelled Nnamani alongside some other key party members for anti-party activities. The senator, in response, took the party to court over disciplinary actions taken against him for alleged anti-party activities. Nnamani had before then openly declared his support for the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Tinubu, which had led to his initial suspension from the PDP. The former governor said his support for the APC candidate was because he could not support a Northerner to become president after the 8-year tenure of the current president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired. Nnamani's candidacy has since his expulsion been under contention as subsection 65, subsection 2b provides that a person shall be qualified for election under subsection 1 of this section if Subsection B, he is a member of a political party and is sponsored by the party. Section 221 of the Constitution also states that no association other than a political party shall canvass for votes for any candidate at any election. However, the Electoral Act 2022 amended Section 33 states that a political party shall not be allowed to change or substitute its candidate whose name has been submitted under Section 29 of this Act, except in the case of death or withdrawal by the candidate. Nnamani therefore affirmed that this candidature for this election was neither threatened nor shaken. Now we move over to the foreign scene. Putin suspends Russia participation in remaining major nuclear treaty with US, explaining his decision to suspend Russia's obligations under the 2010 New START Treaty. Mr. Putin accused the US and its NATO allies of openly declaring the goal of Moscow's defeat in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin has declared that Russia is suspending its participation in the New START Treaty, the last remaining nuclear arms control pact with the US, sharply upping the ante amid tensions with Washington over the fighting in Ukraine. Speaking in his State of the Nation address, he also said Russia should be ready to resume nuclear weapons tests if the US does so, a move that would end a global ban on nuclear weapons tests in place since the end of the Cold War. Noting that the decision to suspend Russia's participation in New START could be reversed, the Foreign Ministry urged the US to de escalate tensions and create a proper environment for the treaty's implementation. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken condemned Mr. Putin's move as deeply unfortunate and irresponsible, adding, "We will be watching carefully to see what Russia actually does." President Putin launched his illegal war of aggression almost a year ago. Since then, NATO allies have provided unprecedented support for Ukraine. We will remain #united with Ukraine for as long as it takes. We will remain ready to talk about strategic arms limitations at any time with Russia, irrespective of anything else going on in the world or in our relationship. The Russian leader on Tuesday mocked NATO's statement urging Moscow to allow the resumption of the US inspections of Russian nuclear weapons sites as some kind of theater of the absurd. We need to understand what are the aspirations of NATO members, Britain and France, and how we take it into account. Their strategic arsenals. The drones used for it were equipped and modernized with NATO's expert assistance, Mr. Putin said. And now they want to inspect our defense facilities in the conditions of today's confrontation. It sounds like sheer nonsense. He described the US push for access to Russian nuclear sites at the height of hypocrisy and cynicism. This is where we draw the curtain on news updates on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. But before we leave, a quick look at the headlines. Anambra extrajudicial killings. Police commence full-scale investigations. Civil society organizations express concerns over insecurity in Ebonyi, urge Buhari to intervene. Anambra, security operatives take over INEC office ahead of presidential polls. Buhari government has cost us pain. We believe in Supreme Court. Sanwo-Olu. Enugu East senatorial candidate Nnamani insists Putin suspends Russia's participation in remaining major nuclear treaty with US. You just listened to news updates on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. News produced and read by Martin Ifanshuku Ekeze. Thank you for listening. Once again, good evening.
Listen to news updates on Ebona, the 103.5 FM immediately after entry, 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. weekdays. Stay tuned to be updated, to be informed. News updates, live reports. Ebona, the FM breaks the news with actualities.
I believe that people are voting for a new Nigeria.
You can as well listen online via mixlr.com/gist FM. Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political views come to
Thank
you at
you.
everyone.
Subscribe, like, share.
103.5
Thank you.
FM. Martin, if I'm every Monday, 3 o'clock.